Welcome you again to another edition of Q&A Social Security Disability Today. And we're going to talk a little bit about how long does it take to get your case heard in federal court. I'm going to lay the scenario out for you. You've actually gone through the entire disability process, you've been denied by the appeals council, and now you've taken your case into federal court and you're trying to figure out how long it's going to take. I know people hate these type of answers from representatives or from attorneys, but it really just depends. It depends on a variety of things. It depends on the caseload of the court. The simple fact of the matter is that some courts are really, really backed up. So if you're dealing with a court that has a real high caseload, if they're real backed up and they've got a lot of cases on their docket, it may take a lot longer than normal. Now you probably ask yourself like, well, for instance, I have cases that I have in the Middle District of Florida. It's been my experience, and it's always subject to change, that it usually takes about from the time you file the complaint in federal court to the time you get a decision, about a year and a half. I have a case in another district right now that's outside of Florida. It's in another state, where literally from the time I filed to the time where we're waiting for a decision, we are in the 2-year mark. So some of you may be going, oh my God, 2 years. That's the reality. Is depending on how backlogged the court is, you could be in there for a while. Also, it depends on the requirements of the judge. Every judge is a little different in terms of what they want the parties to do in order to prepare the case for the judge to review. Meaning, does the judge require individual briefs, or does the judge require a joint brief? Does the judge have a scheduling order that requires the parties to communicate with each other before they actually file their final briefs? So all these little nuances that I'm telling you about may be things that actually adds to the time process. Also, if there's any additional procedural issues that happen, like let's say, for instance, you file a complaint, but you actually ask the court to waive the filing fees. Well, that's going to add some time. You have to serve all the parties. Well, that's going to add some time. If there's any particular requirements that need to happen, meaning you have to tell the court if there's any other cases out there, you need to contact the other side to see if they agree to consent to a magistrate judge. All of these things add time. So you're sitting here thinking, okay, I'm filing this case in federal court, whether you do it on your own, what we call pro se, or you do it with a representative, you need to be mindful of the fact that this process is something that may take a while. So I want you to know that in the back of your mind. So this way, when you find yourself in a situation where you're filing in federal court and you're trying to figure out how long it will take, these are the things that you need to keep in the back of your mind for purposes of understanding that this may add time to the length of time it takes from the time you file to the time you get a decision from the federal judge.
Tune in tomorrow as our next topic will be, what impact will working part-time have on your pending disability case?